Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 4 of the RLH F1 Season 5 Championship. Tonight, you join us in Azerbaijan for the Baku Grand Prix and what looks to be a dry qualifying session. We have 16 drivers tonight. Hopefully, you will have the same amount at the end of the checkered flag after this session and after the race, of course. It should be good, and I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are too. And this track then has 20 turns, in fact, and the shortest run down from the start-finish line to turn 1. It's just 400 metres, which is the shortest of any Formula 1 track. 400 or 40, I can never remember. Pretty sure it's 400 though. Anyway, I hope you're ready for what should be an excellent race tonight. Charles Leclerc holds the lap record here, which I think is a 1:43.009, although I might not be correct on that, so don't quote me there. This track, most of which based below sea level, coming just to 2.1 metres above it at the height of the track, which is around turn 13, which is where it crests. Relatively flat apart from that uphill-downhill section before and after Castle, with a total elevation change of about 26 metres in total, and there should be good, and this should be a good race. I believe everyone's looking forward to it. It's been an excellent championship battle so far though, with Rafa leading the championship. Oh, and that's Oppenheim. He's crashed in the Castle section, and I don't think that's the first time we're going to see that tonight. That has really not gone well for him, and he's having to do about a 13-point turn here. That is really not ideal for the Renault driver. But anyway, he should be able to carry on from there. He's got no front wing though, and he's going to have to change that. We've got Simsy Danger though behind him, and we'll ride on board with him for a hot lap around the Azerbaijan circuit. Of course, it's the street circuit around Baku, with the extremely long straight, and a big DRS train will hopefully follow from that. Simsy Danger then making his return. He's not had many points so far this season. He's only received 4, but he's backing up and letting everyone go through because he's got front wing damage. I think I heard him tap the back of Oppenheim when he had his spin at the Castle section. But anyway, we'll ride on board with you at midnight now, heading along the straight before the DRS is even open at 205 miles per hour. That's going to increase it to about 213 miles an hour on the straight. Yes, then into turn 1, heavy braking, maximising that use of curb, and then on the exit going up through the gears very quickly. Now on towards turn 2, which leads onto the second DRS straight, or first, depending on how you look at it, and he's had a bit of wheel spin there, but he's managed to keep it out of the barriers, which is always going to be quite an issue around the street circuit. But anyway, heading towards turn 3, which is followed swiftly by turn 4. You've got to be careful here. You don't want to get the wheel spin because traction will kill you, and here you want to avoid the curb. It is very high profile and can be very dangerous. Then on the exit, running up towards turn 5, and the line is all important here, taking a late apex and then maximising the speed out of turn 6 on towards the straight, which leads into turn 7, a very heavy braking zone. And after this you'll have the Castle section where not really speed, but it's all about the flow through here, being very careful, getting as close to the barriers as possible. Look at this, midnight coming within millimetres of the barrier here, and on the exit of the Castle section towards turn 13, which is left-hand kink, and turn 14, which is yet another left-hand kink, before heavy braking into turn 15, down the hill towards turn 16, which is the last proper turn on this circuit, the last braking zone. Then out of here it's all about exit speed, because you've got to carry all of this down a very, very long straight. It's flat out from here to the start finish line. This is looking like quite a decent lap. Of course, midnight on the hard tyres, so we'll have to see strategy here tonight. It looks like those on the softs might be going for a 2-stop, whereas those on the hards might only be going for the 1-stop, which would be hards to mediums, I believe, and that's going to be a 140.8. So it might have been a 140.009 from Charles Leclerc, who had the fastest lap, who holds the title, or maybe even less, because we've had Rob Forbes with a 138.9, so he's the first driver to get past the 139 barrier into the 138, with Vittenhoe with a 139.9, so a second off. We've got Crazy Crumpet here heading towards the line now. There's sector 3 there. It was 143 no, not 143, like 114. Now along the straight in the Rocket Williams racing, really rocketing down here at a speed of 210 miles per hour towards the start finish line. Let's see what it's going to be. It's going to be the fastest lap with a 138.902. So about 7/100ths of a second quicker than Rob, but Verstappen takes off him with a 138.1. So 0.8 of a second, more like 0.7 of a second faster than the Williams. Looking down the order, Oppenheim is back out. I'm trying to get out the comments, but it doesn't seem to be working. And in the meantime, there's yellow flags. I'm not quite sure what has caused those. This is going to be Sem, but ahead of him, it's going to be King David across the line just to start a lap. Whereas Sem looks like he's on an out lap. Rafa, on the other hand, I believe he's on a hot lap. VSR Marquez, of course, on a hot lap. Let's see what he can do here in his Mercedes. Heavy braking for turn 16 then. On the exit, it's looking good. He's running very low fuel. In fact, no, he's on an in lap actually. He's not actually set a lap time as yet, as you can tell by him running 0 ERS mode. Whereas here comes Rafa, the championship leader in the Ferrari. We're getting very close to that inside barrier there with a bit of wheel spin, managing to keep it nice and slick on track. Towards turn 15 then, heavy braking around the right hand. Over the high profile curves, he's hit the barrier. That might be a lap invalidation as Crazy Crumpets there going slowly to the left. Was that any damage for the Ferrari? It looks like it's missing his end plate, but that doesn't really matter towards the end of the lap. I think he's going to finish his lap. I'm not quite sure. He's dropped it down to ERS mode 4 through the left and right chicane style turn along the straight. It looks like he might be pulling in towards... No, yeah, he is going to go into the pits. Got to be careful there to avoid the barriers with the chicane-like entrance. But anyway, I'm going to quickly go and shut my door. Okay, unfortunately, it looks like tonight I'm going to have to blue screen you unless my internet decides to actually do what it's supposed to do and connect to my phone. I'm going to blue screen you quickly to have a look at these comments. Yeah, so just bear with me. There we go. Verstappen top 5 finish. No spag and chips. Although, Lenny, did your dad ever get back to you about Silverstone? I'd be interested in knowing, seeing as you're here watching the stream. You know. Oh, there goes Nick into the pit, so he's yet to set a lap. He was on the hards there. This is VSR Marquez on an out lap. Yep, so is Rafa. It looks like. LR Archie actually though on a hot lap, but this is Foxy Dude ahead of him. Foxy Dude's not on a hot lap though, so we'll watch LR Archie here as he goes through, I think, turns 4, oh gosh, turn 4 and 5. Sorry about that, I just hit my mic stand. That's not ideal, but hopefully it's not too bad, and hopefully the mic sounds good. Do let me know in the comments down below if it's not, and then I can fix that for you, so it's a good listening experience for you guys. I think it should be fine though. We'll wait and see though. Also, if the sound balance is too bad, give me a shout as well, and I'll be sure to fix that for you guys as well. LR Foxy did then with the fastest lap, and that's going to be at 137.6. Very nice there. So he's the first driver to get into the 137s. He's half a second ahead of Verstappen. That is quite a hefty gap there to the other driver. And that's looking like some good pace from the Sport Pacer Racing Point Formula 1 team pink car. Here comes Archie then along the straight towards the line. He's activated his DRS and towards the line. He's in 13th, but it's going to be third, improving by 10 positions with a 1:38.2 dead. Very good lap then from him. And you can see there's drivers quite closely matched at the top. All of the drivers on softs, mostly within a second. At least first to sixth, they're all within. First to eighth, actually, are all within a second of each other. In fact, less than that. Now then, let's have a look, because Rafa and Marquez are both on hot laps. It looks like, yeah, VSR Marquez is in front of Rafa, so we'll watch him now. Nick is on an outlap, and he does need to slot a good outlap. Of course, we've got to take the current lap times with a pinch of salt, because they are potentially banker laps, and the drivers might be coming out for second salvo of laps towards the latter end of this session. 7 minutes left then. These drivers taking the middle section of qualifying to set their laps, because that's when there's the least traffic. As you can see on the left, there's not too many drivers out on track to get in their way right now. But anyway, towards the line, VSR Marquez going back into the pits. I'm not quite sure what's going on for him there then. It looks like he might be struggling on those tyres or on his setup. I don't know. Maybe he's just trying to get a feel for the track first before he gets going. But we've got RLH Rafa here, followed closely by Vittino. Or Callis. No, it's actually Callis there. But Rafa in front. Callis could be... No, Callis is going to pull into the pits, and that's only going to be second for RLT Rafa with a 1:37.7. But we'll go up to Nick now, who's on an outlap, but he's about to start his hot lap. In fact, we'll have a look at who else is on track. Vittino, actually, he's on a hot lap. Robert is a bit ahead of him, it looks like. King David, on the other hand, just starting a lap, as Rafa is on an in lap. So let's find someone on a hot lap. This is Vittino. We'll watch him through here as he goes through turns 5 and 6 towards the castle section. I've just realised I haven't got a glass of water, and that's quite a rookie error on my behalf. So I have to go and get one after the qualifying session, and hopefully that'll be sorted and I don't get a sore throat. But castle section, as usual, very difficult, and that was proven by the first driver to go through there this evening. Oppenheim, of course, having a bit of struggling a bit with the barriers there, but that is Vittino actually flying around these left-handers. Very nice camera angle there at turn 15, but towards turn 16 it's going to be heavy on the brakes, all the way down to gear 4, but flat out on the exit. Now then, as we go towards the line, let's see if he can improve. He's in 9th currently, he's on the soft tyres, he's already set one on the softs. Of course, he will be starting on these tyres come at the start of the race. There's the yellow flags in sector 2. Not entirely sure why that is. That might be due to castle section. He's only going to improve by 1 position, though. Let's have a look if we've seen any new carbon fibre in castle. Not entirely sure. That Rob Forbes out of fuel. Here comes Synth Danger. He is a quick driver, but it looks like he's struggling this season compared to other drivers. Maybe it's just because the other drivers have got faster. I know he hasn't had that much time to play the game. VSR Marquez on an outlap, but here comes Nick. He's yet to set a lap time, but that's all going to change as he takes 5th here in Baku, slotting in between Archie and King David. That is Verstappen. His car a lot quieter than some of the others here. This is VSR Marquez then. He's starting his hot lap around Baku City Circuit. I'm going to have another crack at looking at these comments, but you never know. Fingers crossed that it will work this time. We just have to wait and see. There's yellow flags in Sector 1. Not sure why that is, but it looks like the green flag is being waved and the caution has cleared. So that shouldn't impair this Mercedes too much. But no, I'm not going to be able to get the stream up on my phone. Let's have a look at the good old iPad then. That tends to have a better connection for me, but it just means I'm not going to have access to my track map or championship standings for the time being. Through the castles then, inch perfect from the Mercedes. But will it be enough? Bettino is out of the session, and that must be along the straight, because there's yellow flags in sectors 1 and 3. Looks like there's a yellow flag here. We'll ride on board with VSR Marquez, see if he can spot what's happened here. Where are the yellow flags being waved? They're still out in sector 3. They're not in this part of sector 3 though. I think he might have lost it on the exit here. This was more of a problem though when people ran high ballast setups, and you could absolutely fling your rear end around there. But it looks like the caution has been cleared, and Bettino's car is off the track, but he's down to 11th now after other drivers setting their times. VSR Marquez improving to 6th on those medium tyres, no less. So yeah, he's going to retire from the session there. So he's clearly happy with just doing the 1 lap. This is Verstappen though. He's in sector 1. Simsy Danger though, he's up to 2nd. So what I was saying about him struggling earlier, well, that's clearly not true, because he's improved to 2nd, which is rather decent, to be honest. But here he comes, and he's going to be going into the pits now. Let's have a look at who's on a hot lap, and it looks like Archie is, because he's heading along the straight, currently in 5th with a 1:38.2 dead. What can he do now? Can he improve enough to take pole position, or will it not be a fast enough lap? And it looks like that was his out lap. Never mind. This is Verstappen. He's on an in lap, it looks like. Nick's in the pits. King David, on the other hand, he's what looks to be a 2nd down this lap, so he might be struggling right now. Yeah, and he's letting that car through. Who's on a hot lap here? It looks like LR Zenith coming through the final turn now. Not really final, but at turn 16. I do apologise if I call that the final turn at some point later this evening, because I know it's not strictly speaking true, but in my mind it is. Anyway, I think people are trying to talk to me on Discord, and that's a 1:39.2 from LR Zenith, and that's going to put him up to 12th, ahead of the Haas of Bettino. Sem is on an outlap. This is You What Midnight though, he's just starting his lap actually. He's got good pace in this game, we saw that. He did well in China. And it doesn't look like my Discord wants to load either. I'll have a quick look though. I'm going to try and connect to my extender. Fingers crossed the stream doesn't end and I don't disconnect. Please. I won't watch the stream though, because that's usually how the stream disconnects. But I should be fine by just loading up Discord. It shouldn't be too much of a problem on my extender. What is going on here? Now live. That's all I'm being added on. Oh, okay, that's cool. And I think the stewards are going to have something to say about VSR Marquez retiring on track. Although that isn't, I believe that is in the rules page of the track. Foxy Dude improving with a 1:37.2, and yeah, it is. The penalty for retiring on track is a qualifying ban, but RLH Rafa is going to take provisional pole here with a 1:37.1. Who else is yet to finish? I think Zenith is going to have another crack at a higher position, maybe having to go for it on these new tyres, or used tyres actually, these mediums. It means they'll be slightly more worn at the start of the race. He's not going to improve though. Here comes Sem towards turn 15. You Are Midnight there across the line. It's going to be 10th for him. Sem now coming out the final turn along the straight. What can he do here? LR Archie retiring from the session. So this is the final man to cross the line. What kind of lap time is he going to set? Out of the final turn now towards the DRS activation line. You can see it because before it there's a line, and then the second line after that is always DRS. It's easy to spot, but across the line now, he's gonna be. He was 15th, and he's gonna stay in 15th there. Then I'm gonna try loading up the stream on my phone then, and fingers crossed my stuff doesn't die. But the finishing order, it's going to be RLR2 Rafa, LR Foxy Dude, Simsy Danger, Verstappen RB 33, LR Archie, VSR Marquez, LR Nick, Rob Forb, King David, You What Midnight, Crazy Crumpet, Oppican LR Zenith, Vittino, Sem and Callis rounding off the grid. And I'm going to go and get myself a glass of water. Here we go then for what should be an excellent race. The drivers will be finalising their setups now and preparing for the race at hand. They will probably be nervous. They're just preparing their strategies as well, because that's always going to be quite important. I'm just going to check my mic's sounding okay, but we're going to start with the formation lap. Okay, it looks like my mic's peaking a bit, so I'll sort that out just before our race gets started. But we can see Rafa is leading everyone out on the formation lap. Let's just adjust my microphone level, and there we go. That should do it then. Hopefully the mic will stop peaking now then. I'll lean back a bit actually, because I think I was maybe even a bit too close to my mic. But here comes the Ferrari going into turns 5 and 6. I will always forget when I'm adjusting my mic volume at the start that I'm going to be shouting, and I don't like shouting when there's no race at hand, because then I just sound like a bit of an idiot. And in a full house, I've got to feel for everyone in my family who's got to deal with me shouting my head off to some people racing on F1 twice a week. I'm not sure if they find it. I'm pretty sure they find it quite annoying. That's what happens when you have siblings. Coming through the final couple of turns then. That is interesting. In fact, speaking of medium and hard tyres, let's have a look at who's on the soft. So Vincent Marquez is the only person in the top 9 starting on the mediums, 3 on the hards, 4 more on the mediums, and then the other 8 on softs. So that is going to really throw a spanner into the works when it comes to strategy, and I'm looking forward to that. But quick before we get started, the championship order: Rafa on 67 points, then Spaghetti Chips on 41. He's not racing. Europe Midnight is only 1 point behind Spaghetti Chips, so he's got a chance to take second in the championship tonight. Verstappen on 33, Lewis on 28, Samster on 18, Oppenheim on 13, Dropia on 12, Rob Forb on 12, Sem on 11, Foxdude on 10, Sims Danger on 4, Callis on 3, and Nick on 0. The other drivers as well on 0. But anyway, let's get ready for the Season 5 F1 Round 4 Baku Grand Prix tonight with Racing League Hub. It's going to be... Wait for it. The yellow flag's being waved, of course, because now it's moving. But it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Out and away we go. Not held for very long there at all. It looks like it's going to be a good start for Rafa. He's going to hold on to the lead as we go 3 wide into turn 1, and that's what's happened in the barrier. forcing You Want Midnight, no, not You Want, what? Oh, Bettino's out of the race before it's even begun. He's gone out at turn 2 as VSR Marquez and You Want Midnight go side by side on the exit. That is Sims Danger spinning around. RLH also out of the race. He went into the barrier on the exit of turn 1. We've got Verstappen now going to the inside of Rob Forbes as we go towards turn 3. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to make the move though. VSR Marquez trying to move to the outside here. In fact, no, he's already ahead of You Want Midnight. He's not really gained or lost any positions so far. There's yellow flags in sector 1, and I think that might be because Sims Danger is having a bit of issues with traction. That's an unfortunate start for him, and he's lost 11 positions from the get-go there. He has still got 26 laps though to regain some of that lost time, but it's going to be difficult as Rafa and Foxadoo are running away at the top here. They've already got a gap of 2.5 seconds to Rob in third. Rob having quite a decent start though, you've got to admit, but Zelar Zenith goes to the back of Oppenheim. Is going to turn 15. He's going to brake much earlier, trying to avoid contact at this early stage. Probably quite a wise move though. Yeah, that is true. Both reserves are already out though. I didn't actually realise that. I forgot that they were reserving. But here comes Verstappen. He hasn't got any DRS, but he's got the ERS and the slipstream. He's going to move to the inside as we head along the straight here. For the first time this evening, the McLaren is going to pull into the pits actually, because he has that front wing damage that we saw earlier from being forced wide as Rob Forbes and Nick go side by side into turn 1. We can just about see that. VSR Marquez though might be trying to get a bit of that action as he's catching up into turn 2 as we head along the DRS straight towards turn 3. Of course, no DRS activated yet. But Elon Nicker in the slipstream. He's going to move to the, he's going to dummy the outside, then move to the inside. And it looks like he's got the position before the brakes had even begun, but he's outbroken himself and he's off the track into the runoff zone. Very unfortunate there for the Ferrari. I think he just misjudged it there and he's caused the yellow flags in sector 1. Very, yeah, maybe a bit too aggressive under the braking there for the Ferrari, and that's going to cost him many positions. He's lost 5 positions now. Verstappen is right at the back after that start. And Liam, it looks like he's in 7th, although I'm not sure it's going to stay that way with the race. This way, racers looking at it as I say that. He's crashed in the castle section, and it looks like that's LR Zenith who's gone into him and sustained front wing damage as well. Oh, and that's nearly collision there with Sims Danger. That's not gone well for the Rocket Williams. Spag, I believe you may have jinxed that by saying, come on, Liam. And that is him out of the race on the 2nd lap of the Grand Prix. So, unfortunately, that didn't last too long for him. And there is absolute carnage here on lap 2, on the opening laps of the Grand Prix as Sims Danger overtakes LR Zenith. Of course, Zenith will have lots of understeer due to his damage, but VSR Marquez taking the podium positions here, trying to keep on top of all of these comments, as well as it's going to be 3 wide as we go into turn 1. This is absolutely fantastic, and it's going to be Rob out in front. You Want Midnight at the back of those 2. In fact, no, Rob's dropped all the way down to 5th. He's lost positions to both of them there. Now You Want Midnight will be trying to look past to get past VSR Marquez. It's quite strange there to see the Toro Rosso overtaking the bigger sister team. Oh, and that looks like the crowd was impressed by there, and that's a big lock up there for the Toro Rosso. And now Rob Forbes is going to move round the outside of You Want Midnight through turn 4. Who's going to come out on top? It looks like Rob has, and now King David might capitalise on the bad exit for Midnight, but not quite. King David staying in 6th for now, but he's only 2/10 of a second behind. There's yellow flags in sector 1, although I'm not quite sure why that is. LR Zenith has pitted for a new front wing already. If he goes on to the hards, that is actually a shout to go to the end of the race. Verstappen went onto the medium, so he's still got another pit stop to go, I reckon. And look at this though, You Want Midnight right up the gearbox of Rob Forbes. He's got the slipstream, he's going to move to the inside. Of course, DRS is now activated as we're on lap 3. Rob Forbes swerving all over the place, it looks like, but that might just be because of the different turning angles the guys are using through that sector there. Goodbye, Spag. Oscar Dad about Silverstone before you go. And Crazy Combat has left the session. There's yellow flags in sector 2, and that's that looks like Callis going slowly. Sims Danger might be trying to get past it. He's going to look to the inside, but he's not going to quite get it. As Rob Forbes and You Want Midnight having quite the tussle here. Rob Ford slightly behind. He's got the He's not got the DRS, but he has got the ERS and system. He's going to move to the inside, and it's going to be side by side through turn 1. Rob's on the softer tyres, but it looks like Midnight's going to come out on top as Rob's going to take another peek through turn 2. It's side by side yet again. Rob Foreman not quite able to get through. DRS is now activated though for Rob, but also for King David. He's becoming quite a big threat here. VSR Marquez already extending that gap. Rob's going to look to the inside of your Midnight into turn 3. It looks like he's going to try and get the move done, but King David here, he's going to move to the inside of Rob, and I don't think anyone saw that happening. He's run over the curb though, and that's going to mean he's going to have to be careful on the exit and applying the power so as not to lose traction. It's been a very unfortunate start for Verstappen. I have to agree with you there, Skyzy. The lads from RLH appear to be watching this evening. I've just got to be careful I don't knock my glass of water into all of the electrical equipment right next to me. Because that wouldn't be ideal, especially if I were to die while streaming, as I nearly dropped my iPad yet again. Seems to be a recurring thing, doesn't it? I mean, dropping expensive technology on the floor during the races, because I have to balance them on my lap, because I haven't got a desk or anything, so it's very easy for them just to slide off. But anyway, Rob Ford is going to be seeing his wing mirrors full of Sport Pacer Racing Point Formula 1 team cars. And that looks like a good run for King David with the slipstream and the ERS. He's going to get the position before the DRS is even activated. Side by side though as we go towards turn 1. Rob Ford trying to go round the outside. King David's going to hold on to it though, keeping the inside line, and he's going to keep the Red Bull behind him. As we can see, lots of carbon fibre on the exit of turn 1. That's all from lap 1, I believe. I'll have to re-watch that after the race though. Zenith is gaining an Oppenheim though. And Verstappen overtaking Nick as Nick pits. We're already lap 5 of 26 here. But here comes Zenith. He's going to have the DRS, ERS and slipstream. He is gaining, but it's not that fast. Oppenheim's actually in lower ERS, but now he is gaining a rate of knots. He's going to move to the inside as he sets the fastest lap of the race, and he's going to take 11th position. Just one person between himself and the points, and that will be LR Nick. The two drivers in the same esports team, it appears, so they won't want to be having contact, but more importantly is not to have inter-team contact, because that's never ideal. Oppenheim took a sniff of the inside line there, but he wasn't quite close enough to make anything work, and he's going to have to stay in 12th for now. Just 13 drivers left here at Baku. We've had 3 crashes so far, as VSR Marquez overtakes Foxy Dude, and Foxy Dude has got damage. He's going very slowly. You Want Midnight overtakes him as well, and it looks like front wing damage. I think he must have lost it on the exit of turn 15, and that has cost him 2 positions, and he's lucky to get that towards the end of the lap. Oh, and he's got a load of oversteer there. King David, his teammate, overtaking him. It's not gone well for Foxy Dude. The close barriers proving too much for him. But now Rob Ford will be looking to get back past King David. The DRS bunny hopping system here at Baku about to play into our favour. Instead, though, they're going to go to the pits. And it looks like on the pit entry, Rob gained a lot of time on King David. And he might even be able to try and hold Rob in. In fact, no, it's going to be Foxy Dude who's going to be slowing down the exit from the pits of Rob. And you can see he's lost about half a second there. So that is not going to be ideal for him. But Oppenheim and LR Zenith all very close. It might be 3 wide as we go to 10-1. In fact, Nick, without any DRS, is dropping behind them. 2 wide though. There goes Zenith around the outside to take 9th position here. Oppenheim about to lose a position to Nick, whom he has just overtaken. But it's not going to be close enough. Now they will both have DRS, and let the DRS train begin on the exit of turn 2. Oppenheim's going to see his wing mirrors full of that Ferrari. The Ferrari is gaining into turn 3, and he's going to try and take 2 positions, and he's taken Zenith out of the race. Nick forgetting to apply the brake pedal, it appears, and that has not gone well for the Mercedes, who was just going very well. And that is definitely going to be one for the shows as he retires from the race. I think he knew what he did there was well out of order. Oh, and that's Rob Ford crashing. He was having an absolutely cracking start to the race, but that's all been ruined by damage. Damage striking again, then once again, lap 6. The gap of absolute carnage here. It wasn't lap 1 so much as it is lap 6 right now with 20 laps to go. That front wing damage is not going to help him. He's let Sims Danger through. Sims Danger on a great recovery drive from having a crash on lap 1. RLH Rafa then pissing. That was a big impact there between Nick and Zenith, and you got to feel for Zenith. He did not see that coming. I think Nick was just a bit too late on the brakes. He tried to take the second position, which is a really rash decision, and Oppenheim managed, luckily for him, to come out of that scot-free. There's our Marquez then, and you at Midnight. They'll be the next people to battle on track here. Lap 7 of 26 then. Yeah, just 20 laps to go. We've already passed quite a few laps, and it has been absolute non-stop action as the pit stops are beginning to unfold. I know you like it, Goldie. I think it's Goldie that likes it. Or it's the other person who I confuse him with sometimes. No offence, Goldie. But anyway, look at this. Though only the top 3 have yet to pit, so the rest of the order is all sorted, as Rob has gone all the way down to last following his most recent pit stop for a new front wing. Although there's only 11 drivers left, I have a feeling we're going to finish with 7 drivers. That's my bet. 7 drivers finishes. There's a bit of a lock up there from the Toro Rosso. He's not really gaining or losing. And you can see some drivers are going to be going to the end here. All of the drivers on the hards. I don't think the mediums are going to last to the end, so that could be the 2-stop. Callis might be on the 2-stop as well. He might go soft, medium, or soft, hard. I'm not too sure what his strategy is there. I'm not quite sure what the tyre wear is around this track, to be honest. I did it in career mode, but I really didn't enjoy it. I'm surprised, though, we haven't had any rain, and I don't think we will be getting any rain this evening. Yeah, which is strange because it is Baku, so you never know. I think the drivers will be very glad there's no rain, because there's been enough incidents as it is, as that was a bit of oversteer there for you at Midnight. But yeah, as I said, there's enough incidents as it is without rain on this track. With rain, I don't know what would happen. I don't even know if we would have a finish to the race. I mean, that would be interesting. Oh, and there's new news that I know this has nothing to do with Formula 1 apart from the fact that they're both racing, but for the World Endurance Championship opener on the 1st of September at Silverstone, which is what I want to go to. It all depends on Spag's position on going to that, because my parents will be in on holiday, so I won't be able to get myself there because I can't drive, unfortunately. Still got a couple of years to go before then, as much as I want to drive ASAP. In fact, I'll be 17 at 2 years tomorrow. Day after tomorrow even. But anyway, the gaps are beginning to extend. These top 3 are yet to pit, and that's because the top 2 are on mediums actually, so they're stretching those tyres, whereas Sem's on the hards. And finally getting used to the new tyre colours though, which is always good to see. It did take me a while though. As Zenith leads the session following his retirement, and Nick leads the session. I'm sure they won't be happy about that. Will Sem go into the pits? I don't know, it seems like gear rate on this game really lacks any oomph. It's hard to get any revs whatsoever, and it's on 11,000 revs, but not a single rev LED when you're in gear rate, unless you've got the DRS active. And because you can't change the gearing in this game, that really hinders you sometimes. But this is Foxy Dude here. Yeah, that's one part of the setups. I feel like F1 setups are a lot less in-depth than other games, such as Project Cars or Assetto Corsa. But saying that, I've got absolutely no idea what I'm doing when it comes to setups. So you can just go with the baseline setup, maybe change the wings if I have any idea about what I want, and just drive from there, to be honest. I'll put in front of Foxy Dude there. I don't actually know what the situation is in F3, but by what you're saying, Goldie, I can bet that, I'm not surprised, to be honest, from what we've seen here and what Goldie is saying. I'm not surprised there is a correspondence between the amount of DNS here in Baku. Yeah, as you said, really living up to it. If this is Baku, then what's going to happen in Monaco is the real question. I think everyone's going to be asking, because Baku has a bit of room for error, as we sort of nicked it after his crash, although he did decide to retire anyway. But in Monaco, if you go wrong, you're staying wrong. There's not really any other choice about it. You've just got to be slow, as Opakanoam is in the barrier. Speaking about driving around this track, and he's facing the wrong way, and he's lost his front wing. But he's going to be able to keep going. We'll hop up to RLH Rafa then, who is gaining on Sem like an Exocet missile. He's got the DRS activated. He's going to move to the left-hand side. This is for the net lead of the race. In fact, he's already in the lead. He's a pit stop ahead of Sem now. Sem is going to lose that position. That's going to be third for Rafa. Now then, once the other two pits, it looks like the top two pit, it looks like Rafa will have a 10-second lead over them after the start of the race. That's what's happened in the pits for the second time this evening. Very interesting race though, and it looks like You Want Midnight is gaining on VSR Marquez. And I do believe, yeah, Marquez is brand new to the league, and he's actually American from what I can see, so welcome to the lead. To the lead? Well, I suppose so. In addition to being welcome to the league. Sometimes you make mistakes, but it's correct if you know what I mean. But I hope you're enjoying the race, everyone. I sure am. It's been absolutely fantastic, the amount of excitement we've experienced this evening. I think everyone can agree about that. If it's not been fortunate for most drivers, and that's a bit of contact there for You Want Midnight, will that be any damage to his front wing? It looks like he's come out of that unscathed, actually. Very lucky for him, because that can always end a lot worse when you clip that that outside barrier. Then we're approaching the halfway point, and these top two have yet to pit, so they'll probably be pitting around now, because those hards can definitely make it to the end if the mediums can make it this far. Although You Want Midnight decides to stay out, Marquez is going to go for the undercut on his rival. Let's go down to Rafa then, because we're going to see where he comes out. He's going to overtake Marquez, but where will Marquez come out in? He's going to come out quite far behind. Sem overtaking him as well, although Sem hasn't pitted yet. There's yellow flags in Sector 2. I'm trying to find out what the cause of that is, and I'm not quite sure what's happened in Sector 2 to cause those yellow flags, but it looks like it's been cleared, whatever it was. Maybe a bit of contact with the barrier. It's annoying because you can't really see from the onboard cameras anymore. The condition of the driver's front wing. That's one thing about the Halo that that does annoy me, where it's rather trivial. You just can't see the state of the driver's front wing because of the halo when you're on board. So you have to wait for a camera facing the front when you're on board afterwards. But as we're reaching a lot, I have yet another good yarn to spin. And this one involved a near-death experience, yes, in the southeast of England. The place you'd least expect anything dangerous to happen when you're on a dog walk. But no, you thought wrong. So basically, me, my mum and my brother were on a dog walk with our dog. And of course, not with a cat. I know there might have been a bit of confusion about that fact, but luckily I've clarified that for you, that it was a dog. But we're on our walk, and there's this field of cows that you have to go through. And that sometimes has a sign on it saying that there may be a bull in the field. So of course you always run that risk, but usually these cows seem docile. So you walk through the field, they're all in the corner because it was raining a bit because the weather was being really weird. Of course, as it is England. But my favourite camera angle right now. I might have to pull away from this story in a second because Sim's Danger is gaining on King David. We'll have a look at where we are after this move. Cindy's going to move to the inside. Yes, he is under braking. Outbraking the racing point when he forced him into the barrier. That was very close for King David. That could have ended very badly. But anyway, back to the story. So we pass through the field, and then we go over the stile. And then I noticed an electric orange wire about a foot off the ground running between, because it's like a little footpath on the left, between two fences. There's just a low electric wire. Upon further inspection, there is a huge bull about 2 meters away from me. And I don't know if you know, but bulls are known to be rather dangerous, which is why you usually have those warning signs. And there he is, not even behind a proper fence, just a foot-high electric fence. Barely 2 meters away from where I was standing. And then, as if it wasn't any worse, the path ahead of us is blocked by another cow. So that was blocked off. So we couldn't go past there, of course, because you don't want to upset a cow, because they're quite big creatures, and they can be quite intimidating. So, and on top of the bull about 2 meters away from us, hardly secure, and then a cow blocking the path in front of us, my dog thinks it's a good idea to start barking at the bull. So as you might have guessed, we were all pretty tense at that moment, because you never know what's going to set off a wild animal. Well, not really wild, but you never know what's going to set off an animal. You can't tell what they're thinking. So we have to turn back. And because we know there's a bull there, we're pretty scared. Climbing over that fence is probably the quickest time I've ever climbed over a stile in my life. I don't know if you don't get them in the UK, if you don't get them elsewhere in the UK, they're like, when you have a fence, it's like a plank halfway up the fence which you can climb over. But anyway, we climb over that very quickly. That's probably the quickest time I've ever done it, as I just said. Adrenaline coursing through our veins. VSR Marquez is actually behind Sam right now after that pit stop, but he's catching up. And yeah, so we leave that field and we go back into the cow field, and it's quite a long walk to the end of that field. It's very long, but quite narrow. So also the gate we were going to go out of originally is blocked by every single one of the cows in that field, so that's blocked off. So we have to go directly back from where we came from. And VSR Marquez though is catching up to Sen, so we will keep an eye on this, don't worry. I'm not forgetting about that. In fact, we'll come back to the story in just a second. VSR Marquez moving to the outside. And he's going to take second off Sem with the DRS assistance, living up to its name with a 4-second gap to our last rapper. We'll go down to Verstappen and Foxley because that's the next big battle. And along the straight. Oh, it looks like the all-important story is going to get delayed yet again by the McLaren and the Racing Point battling. Verstappen's going to move to the inside with the DRS, ERS and slipstream. He's also on softer tyres, which is going to help him into turn 1. That is going to be 7th position there for McLaren. And there we go. Nick, what happened was unfortunate, but I'm in no position to pass judgment right now. I have to leave it for the juries, of which I am one, to pass judgment on. And it is really unfortunate what happened. I think he just maybe got a bit rash. But all you gotta do is bounce back to it, mate. I know you will get punished for it. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do. No matter how sorry you are, you're gonna have to get punished for that. There's no exceptions, but unfortunately, that kind of stuff does happen. Yeah, just try and bounce back from it, mate. It is unlucky. And hopefully you've apologised to Zenith for what you did. I reckon you have though, because it's taking you a while to come back to the stream as Rafa goes into the pits at the same time as Sem. And let's go into the tyres, because VSR Marquez is on the hard, so you can take them to the end. Whereas Rafa, that's my iPad if you heard that thud, is going onto the mediums for the last 11 laps of the race. as just ahead of him is Sem. So Sem appears to have jumped him through strategy. So I don't think strategy is playing out in Rafa's favour tonight, as VSR Marquez now takes the lead. But back to the cow story. So we are absolutely very nervous walking back through the cow field. There's that 3-second time penalty for Foxy. That's not going to help him. But he has got a pit stop of a gap behind him to rob. Oh, look at that. King David, though, on 7. He's going to be side by side through turn 3 into turn 4. Can we see him move? In fact, it looks like Rafa's going to be trying to make the move on King David. He's going to move to the outside turn 5. Not quite. He's going to have to. Rafa's going to have to back off from King David there. But yeah, long story short, we weren't killed by a bull, or I wouldn't be commentating tonight. And then we did the walk again today. We did the walk from the other way to the path that we were, and we were taking the path that would have been blocked, that was blocked by the cow the day before, or yesterday, and we were very, very nervous. That was probably the scariest part, and it was all like bracken and stuff, so you couldn't see around the corner. And we come around the corner, but fortunately there was not a single cow to be seen, not even in the field. So at least we know that that bull's not always going to be blocking our path, or providing some kind of nervousness here. I don't know. You would understand if you were there how scary my near-death experience with that bull is. Very close. Anyway, there goes Rafa taking that position off King David before he's even got DRS activated, really. Yeah, I mean, that is quite a massive tangent. It was mainly because we were entering the lull, and there's always something random for me to talk about. But that is an absolute gain that Rafa has made between himself and David. That's almost up to a sector one alone. They might have a DRS failure actually, because it doesn't look like he's activating it. I'm not quite sure though. You can only really see his rear wing from the braking. And once you're braking, it closes automatically. But Rafa is closing up to Sem now. So that's going to be interesting. Just half a second. Thank you. Just talking to my brother. Look at this though. Sem is taking his teammate Simsy Danger. That's 4th. Rafa is going to move to the inside of Simsy Danger as well as we go into turn 15. That was very close there between the drivers. I don't think he could have cut that any closer without contact. Now then, the DRS train will begin. Let's not just unfold from Simsy Danger's perspective. It's Rafa in an Alfa Romeo sandwich, the sister team of the Ferrari, ironically, surrounding the Ferrari itself, the works Ferrari. But anyway, Rafa's going to move to the outside of Sem using DRS. Sem won't have any. Simsy Danger though, he's backed off. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Rafa has set the fast out with a 141.6, and that is going to be 3rd position for him. Now he needs to find about 20 seconds to take the lead here, and he's got 10 laps to do it. So I don't know. I don't think his strategy has worked out well for him at all tonight. It doesn't look like Simsy Danger's intent on battling his teammate Sem. He's quite safe from behind for now. There's about 3 seconds to King David here. So, yeah. But anyway, at least there was no ball delay. Although, yesterday and this morning on my paper round, I saw a fox on the other side of the road. And it just sat there looking at me. And I've got a picture. I'll send it to you next week. But, you know, it's just a bit of a weird experience with nature for me at the moment. Join me next time on Steve Hugo's Nature Walks. And please excuse my attempt at an Australian accent. I don't even think you could even call that an attempt at an Australian accent, to be honest. But Verstappen is closing up to King David. King David has gained 2 seconds on Simsy. Has Simsy got front wing damage? That might explain why he's going so slowly. It doesn't look like it though. I'm not quite sure what's going on with Simsy right now. Maybe he's just trying to conserve fuel. I don't know, he just doesn't look like he's pushing very hard. Maybe he just wants to keep it on track. A bad finish is better than no finish, of course. Arlati Rafa improves by about half a second, by about nearly a second with a 140.7 there. So he's really picking up the pace, and he is trying to gain on those top drives, and he's doing it quite well, to be honest. He is gaining, and will he be able to catch up? Those drives will be on worn hards, while he'll be on fresher mediums, but only 3 or 4 laps, so it's not really that drastic of a difference. Although, I think I would know what's happening. Simsy might be trying to nurse these mediums. They're 14 laps old though, so I think he's going to have to pit again, and that will, let's have a quick look at the intervals. That's not the intervals, that is the intervals. That'll put him down to about 8th, I think. But now Verstappen is getting on King David. I think King David's going to have a sniff down the inside as soon as danger. I think he's way too far back to really make anything of that there. So the 2-stop strategy really not working for Rafa. I think he might have started on the soft tyres. And I reckon it's going to be between Marquez and Midnight for the lead of the race. My money's on Marquez, but of course you never know what's going to happen. I reckon if they're close enough behind on the final lap, whoever's close enough behind will take the win. Danger will also be trying to slow down the drivers behind him a bit for his teammates then. Maybe a bit of teamwork going on there. It's quite nice to see. Well, obviously not nice if you're one of these two drivers, King David or Verstappen, but good teamwork. That's not something you always see in league racing, because the drivers mainly race for themselves, and that is close there. King David pulling to the inside, and Verstappen getting every last centimetre of slipstream there. Nearly going into the pits, he was so dedicated to it. As they go side by side through turn 1 then. It looks like King David's just about got his nose ahead as we go through turn 2. Getting it squeezed right to the outside as Verstappen fair racing here towards turn 3. It looks like Verstappen's going to be ever so slightly ahead. There's neither of them got DRS. That's very strange as they go side by side. Bit of a lock up there from King David, but he has taken 5th position back of Verstappen after losing it briefly along the straight. Verstappen now will be trying to regain whatever position, a 5th position here of King David. It looks like the podiums are sorted out, really, although Sem might be trying to go for the 3rd place off Rafa. That was a bit of a corner cut there from Verstappen. Not a warning though, I don't think. You never know. King David on this hand. It's weird though, we've had so many crashes, but I think we've had more crashes than time penalties for track limits tonight. Or time penalties in general. Well, unless I have been concentrating on that aspect, which, I mean, to be honest, wouldn't surprise me at all. Verstappen though into turn 15 is going to leave it to the straight. Probably quite a smart move, because you want to get that DRS trap when you're behind King David. When you're behind the car in front, so you can utilise it on the straight, and therefore you can defend better as well. So it's probably not very wise to make a move into turn 15. That's quite good overtaking strategy here from Verstappen. Quite clever, to be honest, because it means King David probably would have just breezed past him along the straight had he made that overtake before the DRS trap. But anyway, Verstappen and King David. King David's going to be behind in his slipstream. Verstappen's trying to break that as much as possible, and it has slowed down King David with the drag quite a bit. Although King David will remain within DRS range for the 2nd DRS straight around this circuit, and he will have it activated. It was strange, I don't think last up either of them had DRS. I'm not sure if that's just me, the game, having a glitch or something, or they passed the trap exactly the same side by side, but I don't think they did, so I'm not quite sure what happened there. It's quite strange. But anyway, if you're still watching and you haven't been bored out of your minds by my my bull story, what are your predictions for the winner? For the top 3 even? I reckon the top 3 stays as it is. I say the top 3 will stay in the top 3. But you know what, Midnight is making steady progress on gaining on VSL Marquez. He could make a win on his debut race. Of course, he did have that slight error in the qualifying when he retired on track, which is something that's clearly stated in the rules that you're not supposed to do. But even so, that will probably mean a qualifying ban next race, but he might still be in with a chance of winning on his debut race for RLH, which would be very impressive, and I think he'd be very chuffed with that if he can manage it. King David, then he's about a second off Verstappen. I think Verstappen is beginning to pull away now. King David's not even got DRS at this point, so it looks like Verstappen's going to take fifth position. He might be able to hold on to it with just 6 laps to go tonight in Bahrain, and my what a race it has been so far, as Simsy sets the fastest lap with a 1:39.8. I know what he might be doing. He might be going for fastest lap point, but Callis has retired from the session. That's yellow flags in sector 2. It's probably in the castle section. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, that is his car. That would be quite a nasty shock if it was that actual F1 just coming around the turn to see a Haas, a Rich Energy, a Haas F1 team strewn across your path. But there you go. At least he's ghosting because he has retired. That's unfortunate for Callis, and that just leaves... if you're going to finish, you're going to finish in the points. And Simsy Danger is on track to get that fastest lap point. I don't think he had to pit again anyway. So he just stretched those mediums out and decided to go onto the softs and really push towards the end of the race. That extra point, you never know when an extra point's going to come in handy, because in league racing, people can always miss races due to unforeseen factors, holidays and all of that kind of thing. So it's a long championship as well. We're not even a quarter of the way through yet. So every point will matter, and some of the contenders for the championship are not even here tonight, so once we get back into September, October, that kind of time, I reckon we will start having more full grids. But even so, we've had quite a full grid so far tonight, and now Foxy Dude is gaining on King David. So in the closing stages of this race, it's not been going too well for the Racing Point team. Racing Point in front, the two teammates battling. Now this will be interesting. That carbon fibre still out on the exit of turn 1 there. The marshals seem to not be bothered about going out, although it would be quite dangerous if it was real life for them to climb over the barrier. So it's always fun to imagine how they're treated, but Foxy Dude with the switching is going to pull to the inside and breeze past his teammate there. I think King David New is in no contention, as Foxy does tap the barrier. King David, I think, was quite willing to let him through, but he might be trying to get that position back. Whoever's got the fastest pace he'll probably come out on top here anyway. You never want contact between the two teammates, because it's better to have one ahead and losing some points than have both of the cars in the team out of the race. You never know though. You ever get that when you sometimes drink water not properly? It really hurts, because I've just done that, and I don't know how I can manage to not be able to drink water, but I have managed to do that, and it's not very comfortable, to be honest. Let's go up to the race leader, and I reckon this is going to be the order at the finish, but you never know. Baku could throw something into the mix here. We've seen crashes all throughout the race, the most recent being Callis. We could still see crashes. There's 4 laps for the drivers to make mistakes, so never put anything out of the question, or as I like to say, it's never over till the fat lady sings. And with Baku it really is, because you never know when you're going to get that snap oversteer going over the marble and just sending it into the barrier, as Simsy has got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warning. That's what happens when he comes when he pushes too hard. But he might be able to take King David actually. King David's having a really poor end to the race. I think his tyres must just be wearing out now, or he hasn't got pace to the drivers behind him. I mean, they're 17 lap old hards. They're equally the most aged tyres. Foxy Dude has got quite a lot of pace in them. I just think King David is struggling. Simsy Danger though is gaining on King David. It's really not going well for this Racing Point. As here comes Simsy, he's right up the gearbox. As we head towards the castle section, not quite close enough there. It's a bit risky as well. That's a very tight turn, especially on the exit. into the castle section. We won't see a move here. They just got to keep it nice and tidy. I know Sims in Danger won't be happy about being stuck in this 38. It's not going to help his tyres, and it's not going to help his attempt at fastest lap. But I think he's quite safe with the amount, with the speed of his lap, and he's also the only other driver. He's the only driver on soft, I believe. So there's no one else in contention for that, really. Yeah. I don't think anyone else is going to be able to take it on their worn tyres. Now along the straight, we'll see the move here from Sims in Danger. Here we go then, just 3 tenths behind. He will have the DRS. Let's watch this from off-board cameras, or trackside cameras as they are properly called. King David wiggling a bit on the track, maybe that's a bit of oversteer correction, we don't know. Sims Danger moving very defensively for the inside, maybe trying to feint it, but he has taken 7th position. He might even be able to take 6th off Foxy Dude before the end of the race. Because there's just 2 seconds between them, 1.5 seconds, and Simsy is on 2 steps softer, the softest compound, whereas Foxy is on the hardest, and Foxy's tyres are about, I don't know, 13 laps older. So quite a good late, very good late pace there from Simsy. It's also in a lighter car as he's burnt off more fuel. And he is gaining very quickly on Foxy Dude actually. Now almost within a second, we might even be able to take him this lap as we go along the straight. Just 2.5 laps to go, if that, this evening. How many front wings have been killed? I don't know. Probably at least half of the drivers have had front wing issues, I would say. That includes the ones who have crashed, of course. They all had front wing issues. They've had more than just front wing issues. They probably had front wheel issues, so that's a bit of oversteer there for Simsy, clipping the barrier. Fortunately, the damage model in F1 isn't that sophisticated, so that isn't a puncture or anything bad like that. RLH Rapper is having a bit of a drop off in pace now because those mediums are going to be slower than those hards. They're a few laps younger, but at this point, when they're quite worn, the hards are going to have that later stage pace. Here comes Sims in Danger though. He's lost half a second to Foxy Dude here. With 2 laps left to go, will he be able to take 7th, or will he be stuck in a racing point? Sandwiches King David. I think he's got front wing damage because he's having to make a pit stop, and unless he just thinks his tyres are too worn, they might be on like 90%, and he might just be having to make a pit stop out of safety. He's going to go onto the softs though, and he might try and go for fastest lap here. He's clear of Rob by quite a while, so it's not going to cost him anything. He may as well go for it. Just needs to be in check enough so as not to crash, but I don't think he's too worried about that anyway. He will get points if he does crash. He'll get 1 point for coming last because he's completed over 75% of the race, which is part of the rules, I think, in the DNF. But you finish 75% of the race and you finish in the points, then you in a points position, then you do get the points. If you don't finish 75% on the other hand, you won't get the points. H2O. But anyway, we go up to Simsy and Foxy Dude as the top driver, BSR Marquez, heads into the final lap. You at Midnight, 1.7 seconds behind him. They're on exactly the same age tyres, pretty much. And I don't think You at Midnight's going to be able to make up 2 seconds, pretty much, in the course of 1 lap. It's unheard of, really. And I don't think Simsy's going to get that position. Foxy Dude's just so much faster in that final sector. Anyway, let's watch a VSR Marquez. He's been leading the race since the pit stop, the first set of pit stops, and his only set of pit stops, which was around lap 12, lap 15, I think, maybe. No, more like, yeah, lap 12 to 15, I believe, was that kind of window. He's had an excellent drive. He's been very fast. He's been dominant. Apart from that little mishap in quali, but I think that he can put that behind himself because he's had just such a good race, and hopefully he sticks around for podium interviews because I think they're going to be very interesting. I'm going to ask Rafa what happened with his strategy, whether that was intentional or not, and just whether he thought he could have made the 2-stop work, because they are the 1-stop work, because they are really stretching these tyres. But here comes VSR Marquez into the final sector for the final time this evening around Baku. It has been an excellent race. There's yellow flags in sector 3, but I don't know why. We'll have to wait and see. And there's yellow flags in Sector 2. Yet again, I don't know why, but that's probably due to damage. If you've got any questions for the podiums, do let me know. But it's going to be VSR Marquez leading as we go along the straight for the final time out of turn 20 for the last time this evening. And across the line, the checkered flag is being waved for the American as he takes the win here in... Oh, he was bringing it close there, but he was slowing down the celebration. That's the win there for VSR Marquez. Then it's going to be You What Midnight. RLH Rafa will take the third step on the podium this evening. On his debut, it's a win for VSR Marquez, we can't forget. As Svag pointed out, he's Irish. He's got an American flag on... sorry about that. He's got an American flag on the RLH website. But anyway, here comes Verstappen, having front wing damage at the beginning of the race. He's managed to pull it back all the way to 5th. Now here comes Foxy Dude. Simsy Danger had the issue and he's lost his whole front wing. So even with King David's pit stop, he's been able to actually overtake Simsy Danger due to that damage for the the Alfa Romeo. But Oppenheim there, he's coming out the final turn 16. Here comes Simsy Danger then in 8th. He will get the fastest lap point as well, so we can't forget that. That is important. He's all wiggling along. He's happy about that. I'm not sure how happy. That hasn't been the greatest race for him. He had an incident in lap 1 as well. That cost him the front wing and that really ruined his race. I think it cost him the front wing anyway. But here comes Oppenheim then to take 9th this evening. He's slowing down massively. He's got the time and he's going to give us potentially donuts. No, he's just going to wiggle it. I don't think it's worth risking a disqualification. And the last driver will be the Red Bull of Rob Forbes. An excellent battle, but that was all ruined by a front wing damage. By some front wing damage from a crash. Yeah, so VSR Marquez will get a quali ban for what happened in quali next race due to what happened. Of course, it does say in the rules and on the website and in the Discord that you can't retire on track. You must wait until you're in the pits before you retire, so it's not to hinder other drivers. So, unfortunately for him, but he has taken the win there, and that has been an absolutely fantastic Grand Prix, even with only 10 finishers. It's going to be VSR Marquez on the top step today, flanked by UWAT Midnight and ILRT Rafa. ILRT Rafa then is going to stay on top in the championship. I think UWAT Midnight will stay in second, which I believe is where he is. And VSR Marquez on his debut race takes the win here in Baku. Sem has moved from P15 to P4, which he is clearly very happy about. And before that, let's have a quick run through of the finishing order. It's going to be VSR Marquez, UWAT Midnight, RLT Rafa, Sem 12 2004, Verstappen RB 33, LR Foxy Dude at 101, King David 1, Simsy Danger, Oppenheim and Rob Forbes. The DNS were Callus 95, LR Zenith, LR Nick 118, RLH Crazy Crumpet, LR Archie and Vitino 1108. What a race. And if you have any questions for the podium finishers, let me know, because I'm about to invite them to the party. So we've got to invite RLRT Rafa. I'm not even sure if I have him as a friend. Do I have any of these drivers as a friend? That's embarrassing. Let's do that quickly now. So you're going to get blue screened in the meantime. Let's invite... do you want to work this time? Thank you. Invite players. VSR Mark. Okay, I need to put in the underscore. There we go. Invite him. He was the winner. Then it will be UWAT Midnight. See if that loads up. If not, there we go. Invite him. And finally, ILRT Rafa. Hello, Midnight. Just waiting on. There we go. Okay, I'll just invite Rafa, and then we can get into the podium interviews. We'll start with Marquez. How was that race for you then?
Excuse me, say that again?
How was the race for you?
Oh, it was good. It was I hate the track so much. I was locking up everywhere. But other than that, well, I was fortunate for sure, but it was good.
Yeah, on your debut race to win, it was pretty impressive though. Especially around such a difficult track.
Yeah, as I said, there was a lot of luck involved. I was fortunate that Rafa. I was fortunate that Rafa blew himself up because he was quite in front. But yeah, pace wasn't there, but I was consistent enough.
Yeah, on a track like this, it's all about like keeping out of the barriers more than it is about raw speed, to be honest. Because we saw that Simsy was the fastest driver. He set the fastest lap, although he did go into the softs for it. He finished 9th in the end. So yeah, it's not all about speed around this track.
I bottled quality massively, so I started on the mediums and just started.
You'll be getting a sorry to tell you this now, but you'll be getting a quali ban for next race, because in the rules you're not meant to retire on track. You're meant to wait until you're in the pits before you retire.
Oh, nice.
Unfortunately, but anyway, we're going to Midnight then. On that sour note,
Hello.
Midnight, how's the race for you then?
Yeah, it's really good. Good to be on the podium after a really disappointing qualifying. I mean, I was hoping for a really good result. This is one of my best tracks. Yeah, got a good result. So I hope.
Yeah. Finally, Rafa. Got a couple questions to you in the comments. First of all, did that strategy not work out for you? The 2-stop.
Yeah, well, it wasn't my plan to do a 2-stop because I was just being a retard and hitting my wing off every second corner. So, I mean, I could have stayed out when I hit my wing off the first time, but I thought it would be like a better idea to go on the mediums and then like get fastest lap, and I would have finished 3rd, so I wouldn't really have lost much, I suppose, because I wouldn't have finished in front of Odoms anyways, and Midnight would have probably caught me as well. But then I decided to take my wing off when I switched to the mediums as well, and from there on I just...
Did you have damage in the final stint?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I did have damage on my soft stint. No, not on my soft stint, on my hard stint and on my medium stint. So on the middle and the last one.
Yeah. Alright then. Is there anything else you guys want to say about that race?
Nope.
Alright then, I think we'll end the stream there. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the race, because for me it was absolutely excellent. And I hope to see you guys next time. Goodbye.